I have the honor and privilege right now to be speaking to a gentleman that has created an extraordinary business network. People of the highest caliber, business leaders, executive coaches, and individuals of the highest standard and have achieved extraordinary levels in the business world. Now, he's managed to do it using a technique that he has invented that is, in effect, a different language. What he has created is quite extraordinary. And I'm going to ask you to listen to really carefully to what James Knight has to say and the way in which that he's created this language and how business leaders and business coaches can take their entire businesses to a new level through the art of communication. James Knight, welcome to scottcundill.com.
Thank you very much, Scott. And it's really great to be here. And I've always enjoyed the time that we spend together. Uh, I'd like to start introducing myself by talking about an experience that I just had when I went to the dentist a couple of weeks ago. And I told my dentist, I've always been very envious of dentists and doctors. And he said, why? And I said, because you never have to look for business. All you have to do is put your sign out saying dentist and your waiting room is full. And the reason for that is that when people are in pain, they look for a solution. And in your particular case, it's very easy. But in my particular case, being in the area of personal growth and development, people over the last 25 or 30 years that I've worked in that area have been uncomfortable, but the pain hasn't been so great that it has forced them to do something about it. And so as a result, I found, and they learned to live with it. But I find that because of the massive, rapid, continuous, unending changes that are taking place in today's world, the pain is getting so great that it's actually forcing people to look for other solutions. So anyone working in my area, personal growth, development, training in that area, there are wonderful opportunities because for the very first time, people are actually looking for solutions. Now, one of the things that in this particular area that I have found is that technology, the very thing that was meant to help us bring people closer together, is acting as a barrier to keep us apart. And everybody is feeling the same pain that with this technology, the minute people even get an indication that you're trying to sell them something, then the shutters go down and they just don't want to know. Now, this is not a new experience. I experienced this when I watched my mom look out the window, watching door-to-door salespeople walk down the street when I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The first thing she'd do is look out the window and she'd see a salesperson. The first thought that went through her mind is, I hope he's not coming here. And the next thing is, oh no, he's coming up the driveway. Maybe he won't think I'm home. So the idea behind it is in today's world, it's even more difficult because on the internet, the minute that you approach someone and they get the indication that you're trying to sell something, the shutters come down. So what I'm excited about is a way that I have discovered to dissolve this high-tech freeze out. And the way that I do it is through something that a systematic approach that I've developed. And I'll point out, first of all, that it's non-manipulative, it's relationship, and it's a selling strategy that I employ. And I'll be very happy to just discuss that with you a little bit.
I would like that. James, before you do, you mentioned high-tech freeze out. That term has just stuck to me. Could you just spend a minute elaborating on that phrase?
Yes, absolutely. Well, what happens is this, our ability to, first of all, come face to face with a client. The technology that was meant to bring us closer together, we used to be able to pick up the phone and call and ask for an appointment. That is no longer possible. So the way of reaching clients and to be able to get their attention in the first place has been, through technology, becoming increasingly more difficult. So the big question that people have is, how do I get people to know about me? Who am I? What do I do? The unique services that I can offer. And so the barriers that we are facing now in doing business, in selling, are increasingly more difficult because, first of all, getting people's attention in the first place is extremely difficult. And so that's what I'm explaining is that to be able to, first of all, connect with a prospect and get them to take the time to know about you has been increasingly more challenging as this technology becomes more and more sophisticated.
So the
People
more,
no longer answer their telephone. It just goes right to voicemail, as an example.
yeah. So what you're saying is the more sophisticated the technology, then the more this kind of freeze out occurs where people kind of push people away. So it's easier to get hold of people in theory by the technology, but much more difficult to get hold of you because people are putting the shutters up.
Absolutely. The same attitude towards being sold something that is prevalent today was in existence 50 years ago, 100 years ago. The instinct was, I don't have time. Now, so what we have in today's world is everyone's selling and no one's buying. And you have that networking, you have that everywhere. So the question is how do you dissolve that barrier? And how do you get people to know about you, who you are, what you do, and the unique services that you can provide? And that's the system that I developed, and I'm very happy to share that information as to how I'm doing it.
This is what we're here for, James. Please go right ahead. We're excited.
Okay, great. So I mentioned a non-manipulative relationship selling strategy. Now, non-manipulative to the extent that there are no ulterior motives, that you're not taking anything from anybody, that you are not trying to manipulate people, because it's not about turning people on, it's not turning them off. And the minute somebody feels like you're trying to manipulate them, you turn them off. So that's the first thing. Second thing is relationship. A relationship is the state of being connected. Now, when you connect with someone, they give you their time and attention, they place weight on what you say, they willingly assist you, they go out of their way to be with you. And unless you connect with someone, you can't sell them anything. Now, the opposite of connect is not disconnect. The opposite of connect is indifference. If you are not connected, people don't give you their time and attention. They don't place weight on what you say, and they go out of their way in many cases to avoid you and not be with you. No one in sales can afford to have people be indifferent to them. So we talk about non-manipulative relationship selling strategies. Now, to me, selling is teaching. It's teaching people about your product or service. And any teacher will tell you that unless you can get a student's attention, you can't sell them anything. Now, within the selling process, gaining favorable attention is the first step in the selling process. And there are about 7 different ways that you can do that. A startling statement is one of them. Donald Trump got elected through startling statements, as an example. That's how he got the attention of the media. A mystery statement, a big name, a referral, a compliment, an exhibit. But the most powerful way of gaining favorable attention is a gift. And I use the gift of information about a person's favorite subject, which is themselves. Dale Carnegie said, talk to a person about themselves and they'll listen for hours.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I use the gift of information about a person's favorite subject to help gain favorable attention and create interest in what I do and so on. So I developed a process within, I developed a system called IMA, which is a systematic framework that, and I think perhaps the best way I could explain it is this, is that each of us unknowingly builds a wall around ourselves through past experiences, through our past environment, through past thinking. And IMA is a gateway. A gateway is something you go through to get to a particular area. IMA is the gateway through the wall of a person to help them understand themselves and other people, how to relate to them, how to work with them better. So I've developed an IMA digital gateway to gain attention and create interest using various ways of gaining attention, asking what color are you as an example, which is a mystery statement. It asks a question and people answer a questionnaire that identifies which of the 4 pattern programmed and predictable ways that they feel comfortable looking at and filtering the world. And that's how we enter into a conversation and connect. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, I do this. I've spent the last 30 or 40 years researching, testing, applying, and teaching a universal language that I created called IMA that is meant to help people connect with one another. I give this information away as a gift. And through that, through both for myself and for IMA practitioners and affiliates that I have around the world, we become a benefactor that give people help and an advantage that can help them elevate their happiness, their effectiveness, their future, and everything else. And so that's how it works.
It is amazing. And having been a benefactor of that process and having seen your network firsthand and being involved, you have an extraordinary high quality group of people around you. So your network that you've created as a result of this gift that you've been giving has resulted in something really, really special. This I'm a network. Please just tell us about the results and how you have used it yourself to build this incredible group of people around you, and how that's starting to give the gift of continuous giving, and how they in turn are now growing the network themselves through this amazing process.
It's so exciting, Scott, to this extent. And to give you a little background, I was hired by the Kuwait government about 10 years ago to work with 200 of their business people. And as they sat there with their robes, headgear, facial coverings, and once they set those aside, each of them said, I'm a high green, I'm a high blue, I'm a high yellow. And flying back, that gave me a view as to how big the entire IMA process was, that it is a universal language, that the people sitting there in the meeting in Kuwait were the same as the ones that were on the beach in Bulgaria, where I was working prior to that with a group of 500 people, and the people in the UK. So the idea behind it is that we all have this universal language. The limiting factor was that I was the only one that could present it. So that's when I set out to develop a group of experts that all had expertise in specific areas, and to teach them the IMA principles and fundamentals and concepts that they could incorporate into their areas of specialization. And so that was the start of what is now become the IMA practitioner program and also the IMA affiliate program. My view of IMA has always been on a global basis. It wasn't local, regional, or national. And so I've had the good fortune of having people from all over the world that are all these experts embrace the IMA principles and to use it in all different areas. And so I never expected that I would have the opportunity to have all of those people in the same room. But as you know, through the technology that has been developed now, that it is possible for all of us to get together and to share this information and so on. And so that's what we're doing.
So I'm going to quickly summarize again from somebody who's participated in this. And James, I really want to reiterate to people who are listening to this, what James has built around himself is an incredible high quality network. Now, if there's one thing that you want in your life and in your business, it's a high quality group of people around you, whether it's social, whether it's business, whatever it happens to be, whether it's in your learning environment, in your teaching environment, you want high quality people around you. And in order to attract and be part and to be part of the lives and businesses of these high quality people, you need that gateway that he's expressed. And this IMA process becomes that gateway. And it's truly remarkable how you can start moving up to that level of caliber of individual that you believe and that you know and that is correct for your life and your business. So James, I really want to thank you and reach out to you for what you've done for me and what you've done for us. And I'd like you to please answer a very specific question now. How do you begin to get involved in the IMA process? And how do we actually start and build that network of people around us that we are all craving and longing for?
Well, the first step is to answer the IMA questionnaire. And you might be interested in knowing what IMA stands for. It's identify your particular IMA style. The M is to modify the message by encoding it in a way that's most likely to be understood by others. And the A is to adapt to the differences in people, but it can also mean appreciate the differences in people to the extent that each of the 4 IMA high colors have amazing areas of brilliance. And the idea is to identify your amazing areas of brilliance. Once you do that by answering 10 questions, then that sets you on a path that takes you through the gateway. Now, IMA is simple, but it goes deep. It's got universal applications and it has a global reach to it. So it makes no difference as to age, background, life experience, or culture. Everyone in the world shares one of those 4 IMA high colors. So that being the case, what I wanted to do here is to give you more of an hors d'oeuvre than a main course. I will say that there's much more to it. I would invite people, first of all, to answer the IMA questionnaire. You can provide the URL for your particular IMA questionnaire.
The URL will be in the description box right here. So
and then the next thing is to join other like-minded people at something that I've recently created called the IMA Fest, that enables us to help everyone build high quality connections by educating and helping others understand, relate to, and work together better.
Amazing. James, this has been a wonderful discussion. Like you said, it's an hors d'oeuvre for you listening to this. I just can't recommend, just go and do the test, find out what color you are, and start to learn about the other colors around you and how you can adapt to them, because it really does work well. Details, once again, get in the description. Contact James, take the test, the questionnaire, and start, getting the world of IMA around you. James, you put so much time and effort to this. I've seen firsthand the results. I've seen the quality of people that are within your network and how you are helping them develop theirs. It's truly extraordinary. And once again, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on scottcundill.com.
It's been a great pleasure, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you once again, James. Very, very, very special.